More than 100 ordinary people experienced 14 days of supernatural ministry during Operation Orient, a ministry trip to China, Vietnam, and Thailand. God instantly knitted the travelers together for a mission trip that would change nations and lives. Bangkok, Thailand, their first stop, would be the staging area for their gospel invasion of China and Vietnam. For those who remember the U.S. war with communist North Vietnam, the very name calls up images of dense jungles, daring rescues of wounded soldiers by the pilots of Huey helicopters, and deadly firefights against a nearly invisible enemy. Yet for today's Vietnamese, the war belongs to a past they wish to move beyond.
Just think about it gets over 26 years ago. I think it's over, and now I just think the same like the young people think. Present and future is most important for me.
For Marilyn and her ministry team, Vietnam is a spiritual battleground, a place of great ministry opportunities.
And we have an opportunity to secretly, if you will, go into these countries and share the gospel and prayer walking and ministering and just sowing seeds for the gospel that God would be able to bring forth for harvest in the future of time.
Marilyn felt led of God to bring in contraband Bibles. The result was a miracle. The travelers marched victoriously into Vietnam with God's Word. Although each of the travelers' suitcases were carefully examined by X-ray, the customs officials saw nothing out of the ordinary, and thousands of contraband Vietnamese Bibles penetrated this communist country without a hitch. Operation Orient was able to deliver more Bibles and needed Christian materials than would normally be brought into Vietnam over the course of an entire year. Many Vietnamese Christians' prayers for Bibles were answered by Marilyn and her ministry team. All too soon, for many of the travelers, it was time to leave for their return to Bangkok and their next campaign of Operation Orient, Communist China. When the travelers landed in Kunming, China, they discovered there were too few baggage carts at the airport. This apparent nuisance turned out to be God's means to get the Bibles through customs. The guards permitted travelers to go outside the quarantine area to retrieve carts. During the ensuing confusion, all the bags of Bibles made it through the customs area without the loss of a single Bible.
I have a great team. We have just come through the airport here in Kunming, and we feel that it was very successful. It went smoothly, and our people just did well.
Each traveler was given the opportunity to join one of two ministry teams in China, those who would travel to various cities to distribute gospel tracts at night, and those who would remain behind to support them in prayer. It's estimated that one tract touches a minimum of 4 to 5 lives. Potentially, over 750,000 people can find salvation because of this ministry outreach. When it was time to return home, one traveler summed up the feelings of many when she said, "The smells, tastes, and touches of the Asian people and their culture has forever embedded these nations in my heart. I will never be the same." Is God calling you to join Marilyn on her next mission trip?